And welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa, and today on this beautiful sunny day before the cold front comes through and brings us frost, I'm going to start my worm bins. Now it's simple and easy to make worm bins. Now I do mine in, let's see, what are these? 32-gallon garbage cans. You want your worm bins to be a dark solid so that sunlight does not make it through. They do not like sunlight, they like darkness. Now I do a small drain hole in mine. Now many don't like to do it. I do. It's just a little bit of insurance to make sure that it does not get too wet and that it can drain. And the way I'll set it up, I'll show you later, is I'll put 5-gallon buckets underneath to catch any moisture that might come out. I know how I do it is I do a layer of mixed compost and garden soil in the bottom. I like to layer I've had success with layering my worm bins. This also helps to get the good microbes in the bin. And if all possible, I don't like to put sticks or little twigs in mine, so you might want to double check yours. Okay, that's the first layer. Okay, my second layer will be shredded leaves because I like to do compost and then shredded leaves. And all I done was just run over mine with the lawnmower because I have a bagging lawnmower. Now there's a little bit of clover and grass mixed in it, which will be fine. All I done was rake out, or actually rake up leaves that I was using for some of my flower plants. And make sure there's no trash or sticks in them. Now I like to mix a little bit of threaded paper in. The worms absolutely love paper. I'm going to moisten it down some. You don't want it soggy. You want it moist, kind of like a wrung out sponge. Okay, next layer will be grass clippings. I know it might sound odd, but just think of it like you're making a big giant lasagna. Now I'll add some more shredded paper. And you're going to want to mix that up. And with each layer, I give it some water. And now what I'll do, now these are used coffee grounds. Do not use fresh coffee grounds because they'll be too acidic. And worms absolutely love coffee grounds. Okay. And now we're going to do another layer of the brown, the threaded wood. We'll add more of the threaded paper. Make sure that they get mixed together very well. You don't want big clumps of paper in one spot. they're doing at that company, but they've been doing that all day long. I tend to moisten the top part more. That way it slowly sinks down to each of the other layers. Last but not least is the last one. Last of the topsoil and compost mix. I'm going to put red wigglers in. I bought extra before I went fishing. So, they're good and healthy. They're just cold for rain. They'll get more active once they start warming up. See, they're good and healthy. They're just really, really cold from being in the cooler, because you have to keep them cool. But they're doing good, and they're going to be doing even better now. And of course, recycle your containers. Now, once they learn that they're not stuck in those containers anymore, they'll venture out. You want to make sure they cover them up. Now, as long as they're happy, your worms will not try to escape. Yes, your worms will try to escape if they're not happy. They can crawl up the side of your can. Once they realize that they're free and they can do their little worm thing, then they'll start moving around. Now what I do now, tomorrow I'm gonna get night crawlers for this one. And of course they can get air through here. And you want to keep an eye on them, make sure that the medium does not dry out. You don't want it soggy, you just want it lightly moist. And you'll want to feed them your kitchen scraps. Now when I say kitchen scraps, leafy greens, cabbages are very good for them. Citrus, they do not like citrus, don't use citrus. They do not like onions, so try not to use any onions. But your coffee grounds, your used coffee grounds, no meat products, no oil, no dairy, vegetable scraps and stuff like that. Now, if you don't use many vegetables in your home, you can always go to the store and look for clearance salad mixes and stuff like that. They'll love that. They love bananas. Now, one thing I will say, I'm growing these not only for worm castings, but also for fishing worms as well. Now, one easy way to get your worms to come up, in case you want to go fishing, is, believe it or not, put a half-peeled banana lay it on top, and they will go crazy over it. They absolutely love bananas. Now you'll notice as time goes by, your material in the cans will start to go down. That's because it's breaking down. And when you mow your grass, you can add your grass as long as it hasn't been sprayed. You do not want to use any sprayed product. And if you have leaves, you can shred them up, put them in. More newspaper, coffee grounds, just keep building it. It's wonderful, and they absolutely will thrive and be happy and thank you for it. Worm castings are amazing fertilizer, and it's some of the best fertilizer, and you don't have to worry about it burning your plants. You can put it straight in your gardening beds, or in your garden, or your raised beds, or also in potted plants as well. It's simple, it's easy. Now I'll bring you back when I get it all set up where I want them to be. Now they're going to need to be in a shady location, and they'll winter over if you're in a warmer climate during the winter. If you're up north where it gets brutally cold during the winter, you're going to want to bring them in to like an unheated garage. Will be fine, and they'll be fine. They'll make it. Well, I'll bring you back as soon as I get them placed where I want them to be. Okay, I finally have my worm bin set up on a nice sturdy metal table. And I have 2 made so far, which I have room for 2 more, which will happen here soon, as soon as I can have the funds for getting 2 more of the big trash cans and some more worms. Now I'm going to move you up closer so that you can see how I feed them, and they are doing very well. As you can see, they have broke down quite a bit. This is about 3 weeks later. I'm finally getting them where I want them to be. Now, last feeding, I gave them some cabbage and a bunch of lettuce and a bunch of good things. They're doing good. Let's see if I can find some. Here's a good, happy one. Now, we've been being cold, so they're going to be sluggish. And they're doing good. Unfortunately, when I checked on them earlier, when I was moving them, apparently I broke up some worm love. Here's there's a good spry one. See, there's a real good spry little worm. They're doing really good. We've just been being really cold. Now I've left the lids off of them so they can get some air and dry out a little bit. But other than that, they're doing good. I felt bad about breaking up the worm love, but at least I know that they're breeding and that they will be laying eggs here soon, so I'll have more worms. But I wanted to feed them. Now at the moment, I don't have any kitchen scraps, any vegetable scraps. So I've made them a special salad that's got white clover, red clover, comfrey, lyre leaf sage, a little bit of grass here and there, which will still work for them, make them happy, give them something green to eat. I'm gonna move that lid. Now the only thing is about when you take the lids off, you have to watch out for birds, because birds have no problem eating your worms. And this is breaking down really nicely. And you want to kind of cover what you feed them, that way they'll get in there and eat. And since it's broke down quite a bit, I'm going to add some more fresh grass clippings. Try to make sure there's no trash. Unfortunately, around here, people don't know how to throw their trash in a garbage can. They think it's okay to just throw their trash wherever. Oh, and I forgot to grab some paper, shredded paper. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with the shredded paper. Give them just a little bit of shredded paper. They absolutely love that. And that worm bin is going to be happy as can be. Now we're going to move over to the next worm bin. Okay, now on to the worm compost bin number 2. They're doing real well too. It's broke down quite a bit, which is a good thing. And when you move anything, you want to go gently. Ah, there's one. This is the one. Oh, there's another good spry one. These are my night crawlers. There's a big old fat healthy one. It's just really cold. Poor little things are cold. And the night crawlers are doing really good. Oops. You got to move it really carefully because you don't want to injure your worms. And I also know a couple of days ago no, it wasn't a couple of days ago, it was last week when I fed them. I also know that I broke up a love fest in this bin too, which is fine. They didn't seem to care, but it also means that they're breeding and there'll be worm eggs, which is epic, which I definitely want. It's time to feed this one. And once again, I made them a good, healthy yard salad, because it's too soon to be having fresh vegetable scraps, but you still want to feed them something. So I'm going to gently cover that up. But everything's composting very well. and they're happy. They're moving around. They're not as active as they usually are because we've been cooler than we should be. Now that I've got that covered up, I'll give them a bunch of grass clippings, spread that out. And since these bins are fairly moist because of all the rain that we've had, even though they've had a cover on them, the soil inside will still soak up the moisture on the outside. I'm not going to water it. Give them a happy dose of shredded paper. Spread that around. And I'm going to leave the lid off of this one. Now, later this evening, before it gets dark, I will be putting the lids back on. But see how simple and easy it is to make a worm bed? Anybody can do this. I have faith that you can as well. Not only am I raising these for the worm castings, but once they get going really good, I will have plenty of bait to go fishing as well. Now I'll probably add a few more worms as I go when I can. And another thing, if you know you have a lot of worms in your soil when you're gardening, you can always capture several of them and put them in your worm bins. That's another way to keep regenerating your worm bins. Well, I hope this video inspires you to grow your own worms. Hold on, it's Evil Knievel. Okay, now Evil Knievel's gone. Now I can talk. I hope this inspires you to start raising your own worm bins. Worm castings make an amazing fertilizer that will not, mosquitoes, will not burn your plants when you add it to your garden. And see, this is my worm bin from last year, which I'll get it up and going here soon too. See how simple and easy? You can do this. I know you can. Anybody can do this. I was lucky and got the big garbage bins at Walmart for $10, and then I showed you exactly how I put it together. Please click the like and subscribe button so you can come along on other videos with me, because I like to go adventuring. There's always something more to do, to learn. It's a never dull moment, nor one where you actually get to sit still for long. I'm fixing to go start some seeds to transplant in the garden at a later date. I hope you enjoy this video. Please click the bell notification so you'll be notified when I upload another video. Everyone take care, be blessed, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.